Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to my bedroom. This is the place where we talk about all things personal when it comes to my life and things I get myself into. My name is Helena Nista, I am a sex therapist and a tantra practitioner. And I recently announced on social media that I got a new tattoo. This is the tattoo. It's still healing. It says I trust, and there's a bit of a pretty decorative sort of theme going around it. I told you guys that there was a powerful story behind this tattoo and I decided to share it in a video. When I put ink on my body, I believe that things that I tattoo should be quite personal, meaningful and important. This is my second tattoo. I have already got a tattoo of chakras on my back and I treasure and love that tattoo. So when I decided that I wanted to tattoo something on my body again, I knew that it had to be something really, really important. And the words I trust actually feel that way to me. And let me just tell you a little bit of a story here so that you understand why this is so important. I grew up in a poor country. I grew up in Poland, I was born in Poland, and I grew up in a poor family. I grew up with strong messages of lack and scarcity. The air in our household was pretty much soaked through with the energy of lack and not having enough. So this is something I was absorbing from a very young age, from pretty much being a toddler. All these worries that my parents had, I was in a way a recipient of that. I went into adulthood with the same worries about money and finances. And this is something that had haunted me for so many years. And if you haven't experienced that, you are so incredibly lucky, because a sense of fear and anxiety to the point of having panic attacks, that is such a heavy burden to carry in your life on a daily basis for so many years that it's just unbelievable. It's hard to explain. So a few years ago, I decided to finally shift that, to finally change that, because it's so hard to try to create something for yourself. And I always have been ambitious. I always wanted to have an amazing life, glorious life, and have adventures and travel the world and be someone, etc. But that scarcity mentality really pulls you down in terms of your dreams. And so very consciously and purposefully, I stepped on a path of personal growth towards opening myself to receiving a lot of money, abundance of joy, travel, adventure, love, community, friendships, and all these things that felt so scarce in my life up to that point. And one message that kept coming up in all of these teachings that I was absorbing from these different teachers was that you need to trust the universe, that the universe has got your back, and that all the forces of the universe want to take care of you, and that there is the most glorious plan that you can follow if you only stop resisting. However, I kept forgetting about that support that I could get from the entire universe, and I just kept going into my head and into my human mind around how I need to make things happen, how I need to hustle and worry and stress and effort to make things happen for myself. And that's, for many years I did that, and I was just exhausted. I was called a workaholic quite a number of times in my life, and I'm not terribly proud of that, but that's just the reality I was creating for myself. And I just kept forgetting that I just need to trust, and that from the place of trust, everything becomes easier. Things just flow. The right people show up, the right circumstances come together, the right projects come effortlessly. And so when I trust, things flow with ease, grace, clarity, with joy. But then I would forget about that again and go into my mind, into that place of fear and anxiety and worry and hustling. In my head, getting that message tattooed on my body would be a bit of a ritual or like a rite of passage, where I would, in this symbolic way, shift into that new place of living my life and understanding my connection with the divine and the universe. And that's kind of what happened. Since I got the tattoo, I've been experiencing such a deep sense of joy and peace. It creates such exquisite peace and inner calm when you realize you don't have to figure it all out yourself. You can just trust and just follow that glorious path that the whole universe created for you, and you just need to feel good, and enjoy yourself and be grateful for this beautiful life experience. That's really all we need to do. That just took away such heavy pressure and burden of responsibility and ambition, and I was just driving myself crazy, because how long can you sustain that for? It's a little bit like I keep forgetting that I'm not just a human, and that I don't have just the human resources available to me. I have the whole universe. And that might not make a lot of sense to you if you're not a spiritual person. I am a deeply spiritual person, and that's just how I choose to live my life. I have absolutely no judgment about people and how they choose different paths for themselves, but this is what works for me. That spiritual path, where I see the whole universe as the extension of me and as a source of amazing love, support, abundance of anything I ever want. That's just what works for me. So whenever I forget that I am not just a human, that I am more than a human, then that's when I struggle. And that's when I find myself in a place of fear, anxiety, and worry. And as soon as I remember to trust, things shift powerfully. And I feel amazing every day, in every moment of my day. And amazing things start flowing to me in the way that is easeful, beautiful, peaceful, happy, and joyous. I hope that this inspires you and that you get value from this video. Please leave me a like if you enjoyed it, and please also leave me a comment to tell me what your approach to life is on that grander scheme and what you thought of everything I shared in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.